So Mulder early on uses like a really early version of a Glock, which is one of the reasons why I was saying he can carry this hot. It's a Glock, like that's kind of the point. And Mulder is using, and that was Mulder, and Scully is using a PPK. I think later on in the show, I noticed that they changed them. I don't know exactly when, but I noticed that from, somewhere in between season 2 and 3, they changed them, and they might change them again throughout the show. But yeah, both of those are just incorrect, like for the FBI at the time. So I'm gonna read my notes as I say. So the FBI was here. Just so I'm gonna lean down and read my notes as I do this. Usually I don't like to do this, but just so I'm making sure I'm getting it right, I'm gonna read it like this and you can deal with it. Oh no. Okay, so the gun selection. For the I wanna make sure I get all of this right. Okay, stop repeating yourself, Bunny. The FBI was using the SIG 228 after the adoption of 10mm didn't really go well, and then the Glock 22/23 in 40 Smith & Wesson, and starting in 97. Now this was filmed, up to season 3, I think is 95, right? So there's no reason that Mulder should be using a Glock 3 years before the FBI adopted a Glock. There's also no reason that Scully should be using a PPK. Again, the layperson who doesn't really love their guns and isn't watching specifically isn't going to notice this, but it does bother me a little bit just because, why you're using a Glock from Mulder. And also they specifically talk a lot about that they're using 9mm, and rather than 40 Smith & Wesson, which is, I don't remember fully, maybe they used 9mm, but I know that they should definitely not be using a Glock, and the PPK is a weird choice for Mulder. Scully. Fuck. Another thing that I think is a little bit weird. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Give me a sec. Oh, okay, right, I remember now. Another thing I think is actually kind of funny is that in season 3, in the middle of season 3, there's this scene where Mulder is chasing this guy, gets into a fence, right? Mulder's gun is gone for some reason. I think the guy knocks it out of his hand or something, and then or puts his gun down. I can't fully remember, but for some reason Mulder no longer has his gun. And I remember, and often in season 1 and 2, there's this whole thing about Mulder's always getting his gun knocked out, but the criminal steals his gun or whatever. But then he pulls out another gun, and I will have a photo here of it, so you can see it. And he says something like, I kept getting tired of losing my gun. And funny, for me, it's kind of funny. I don't know if the FBI, maybe someone can tell me in the comments, would issue him a second gun, if this is a personal gun, if he's even allowed to carry that on the job. But I do think it's funny that his solution was to get another gun. And I think it's a little bit funny. That line specifically is kind of like, to me at least, I interpret it as like kind of making fun of the writing of like, yes, the plot for like, we need Mulder to not have his gun anymore, but he's an FBI agent. And so I do think it's funny, that little joke in there, at least as I'm interpreting it, as, haha, we for plot make Mulder lose his gun a lot, and this is kind of a running thing with like him and the sunflower seeds and the fucking losing his gun, like Mulder's always losing his gun. That little joke of he now starts carrying a second gun just because he keeps losing his gun is really funny to me, and I love that. There's also just like a few episodes before that, there's a thing of where Mulder like walks out of a room and leaves his gun behind, and Scully goes back in to grab it for him. So this is definitely kind of like a thing. I don't know, I've just been noticing it, and that joke made me laugh. So if you've noticed that, or any other things, let me know in the comments below. Let me know through season 3 what you think about the guns in the X-Files. I love the X-Files. I tried to keep this really focused on the guns because I didn't want there to be spoilers, but I hope you liked my little X-Files gun rant. And also, when I finish more of the show, maybe in like another 3 seasons, I will do an updated one on the next few seasons. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you later. Bye! When I started my channel, I decided that I was not going to monetize through YouTube, and I wasn't going to do sponsorships unless like Uncrustables wants to sponsor me. So I decided to basically be crowdfunded. The way that you can support me is through my Patreon, which is the link below. The paid tier starts at $5, and then there are many levels with different perks from there. So please go check it out. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you can also support me by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing my videos, checking your feed every Monday and every Thursday for my new videos, because that's when they come out, and YouTube's algorithm is a little bit of a bitch sometimes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video and my channel in general. Bye.